Another question I want to answer that we've been getting from advisors is how do we think a spot Bitcoin ETF will change the market? And this is obviously something that we've talked about quite a bit, the ways that a spot Bitcoin ETF will change kind of the crypto market if there is an approval, if there's an approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. So I wanted to go into that because it's a question that we got last week. And there are several ways to look at this. One is based on just supply and demand. If one spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved, there will be several spot Bitcoin ETFs that get approved. There is probably a tremendous amount of pent-up demand to invest or get exposure to Bitcoin. And therefore we see, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially moving into a spot Bitcoin ETF. You're going to have institutions that are going to be able to invest. Think about all the retirement money, IRAs, 401ks that are now going to be able to invest because there's a QSIP attached to it. That is a tremendous amount of demand. Because there's such a low supply of Bitcoin, 21 million will ever be produced. We're approaching 20 million in existence. ETF companies, the companies that issue the ETFs and the market makers are just going to have to go buy those in the market, whether it's the open market or OTC or whatever it is. And there's going to be a limited number of people willing to sell. That should send the price skyrocketing. The day that the ETF gets approved, the price should skyrocket. That will obviously lead to a tremendous amount of money going into Bitcoin, but will also lead to a tremendous amount of interest. If people have been not sure about investing in Bitcoin and all of a sudden the price doubles, now they're going to get more interested, whether or not they were already in. They're going to start hopefully talking to their financial advisor about it. Hopefully more advisors will learn about it, and the interest will be because the price has gone up. Now we'll also likely see if there's a Bitcoin spot ETF approved, there will likely be an ETH spot ETF approved, so the same thing should happen to ETH. And again, limited supply, price should go up just based on supply and demand. There will also be more interest in the ecosystem. What this will also show is kind of a thawing of the US government towards crypto. If a spot ETF finally gets approved, of course, the SEC has been the most vehemently anti-crypto regulator in the US. And if that starts to thaw, then we might see this explosion in investment and understanding around crypto. Now, in the meantime, while all this has been going on, there's been so much adoption of crypto. There's been so much adoption of ETH and Solana and Polygon and all these other chains of companies actually utilizing for things like tokenizing assets and for using NFTs for loyalty points and NFTs for restaurant rewards and NFTs for collectibles and for goods like Adidas and Nike and Starbucks offering them. So we're seeing tremendous adoption of the ecosystems. A thawing by the US government will kind of allow everybody to go, I feel okay with this. It'll take away some of that regulatory risk. And hopefully what it'll mean for anybody who is a financial professional is it's the time to get educated. It's the time to start learning. You're going to have more and more clients who are going to say, this is now okay. Some of the regulatory risk has been taken off the table. And when you start having financial professionals, financial advisors understanding it more and saying, we're okay with this now because this regulatory risk has been taken off, I think you're just going to have an explosion in the price, but you're also going to have an explosion in adoption, which down the road will lead to the explosions in price. But what it also means, again, is the growth in adoption will lead to financial professionals having to understand the system. They're going to have to understand wallets. You're going to have to understand the difference between a Bitcoin spot ETF and owning Bitcoin in a custodial account and owning Bitcoin in your own wallet. Those are going to be important distinctions to make because your clients are going to ask. They're going to say, can't I just buy the Bitcoin on Coinbase? Can't I just buy the Bitcoin another way and move it to my wallet? And as an advisor, yes, you'd love to put it in, spot ETF so that you get it as part of your AUM, but you're going to have those conversations when your clients start to get more interested and when it's more acceptable for you to go ahead and help them with it because some of that regulatory risk has been taken off the table. So an approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF is going to absolutely, in my opinion, open the floodgates to not only the prices of crypto, but the interest and the adoption of Web3 crypto blockchain technologies.